So today I am reviewing the Bluetti EP800 all-in-one home solar system. It's an all-in-one, meaning it's an all-around solution that has everything you need to run solar on your home. It has the batteries that you see, these right here. It has the inverter at the top. It has the MPPT charge controllers, two of them mounted on this thing inside it. So it's got already the kill switch. It comes with a PV disconnect switch already on it. Install a critical loads panel that you see that I have right here. Quick rapid disconnect switch from the grid, and you're off and running. And this isn't just a backup solar system and battery bank for your house. This can help you lower your electric bill. This in essence is a mini power plant in itself. You're going to produce your own energy via the solar panels that run to this. It is going to convert that DC energy to AC electricity that you can store here or use directly in your house. So this unit is made to be entirely like an off-grid solar system for your home, or you can use it how we do, which is to lower our electric bill and try to be as off-grid as possible for as long as possible. And if the grid power goes down, this will switch over in less than 20 milliseconds to continue to power your house uninterrupted. So the EP800 is a split phase 240 volt system. So it produces the exact type of electricity you need to run into your home main panel to power all those loads. The maximum output that this EP800 can do is 7,600 watts. But if you wanted to, you can parallel up to 4 of these units if you'd like, or you could just do 2 and get double that to over 15,000 watts. So the EP800 can run on as little as 2 batteries, which is about 10 kilowatt hours, or you can have 3 batteries, which we have here, 1, 2, 3, and that's about 15 kilowatt hours of power, or you can add 1 more. You just pull this right up, slide another battery in easily. I mean, it's literally plug and play. It is simple. And that would get us to a max of just under 20 kilowatt hours of storage in this one unit. Now, if you parallel another one right next to it, now you can have up to 40 kilowatt hours, or another one for up to 60 kilowatt hours. And if you want to add a fourth, you'd have 80 kilowatt hours of battery storage. So this thing could power your whole house for quite a while. The surge rating on this EP800 is about 70 amps. So as I mentioned, you can get between 2 to 4 of these batteries. You could start out small if you wanted, and then scale up and just buy more batteries later on. They'll take about 5 minutes to install. That's how easy these batteries are, just to slide in there. So that's nice if your budget doesn't allow you to get the full amount of batteries you can fit on this thing at once. You can always do that down the road. The batteries for these things are called B500. So this is a B500, this is a B500, and this is a B500. And the inverter up at the top here is the EP800. Each of these batteries are just under 5 kilowatt hours. To be exact, they're 4.96 kilowatt hours. Now the EP800 is a modular unit, which means they're pretty much plug and play. So these just pop right up off each other and slide right back in. Even the battery cables that connect these things, you just plug them and snap them in. So there's no crimping, there's no stripping cables. It is a very easy installation. The EP800 has 2 different MPPT charge controllers built inside them. The first MPPT charge controller can do up to 3,000 watts of solar. The second MPPT charge controller can do up to 6,000 watts of solar, bringing your total solar array you can have connected to this at 9,000 watts. And the running voltage, the voltage you want to stay between, is 150 volts to 500 volts connected to this. So what's great about having that high of voltage you can run back is you don't have to worry about combiner boxes out there where your solar array is, and lowering the cost and making this an easy installation. And this unit also comes with a solid warranty at 10 years. Control and monitor this thing all from the Bluetti smartphone app. I got this thing set up and communicating to it in less than probably 3 minutes. It was a piece of cake. And if the internet goes down at your house, no worry, you can actually directly connect to this via Bluetooth on your smartphone. Now there is no LCD display on this unit, but I didn't find that an issue because the app is so easy to use. It's really not even needed. You can do firmware updates over the air with this thing, making those upgrades a piece of cake as well. Now on the app, you have different modes that you can set the EP800 up with. One is the time of use, which means you want to use that if you have a power company, say like in California, where they have different rates, like peak rates between the hours of say 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can actually set this so you automatically go to battery power during that time, and then when the rates drop back down after that, you could tell it go ahead and go back to the grid to charge back up to be ready for that next time period where your rates skyrocket. There's also a self-consumption mode on this thing. In that mode, and that's the mode I use it in right now, is it basically prioritizes solar and batteries over using any grid power. So it basically uses the grid as the backup only. So if your batteries get to below 20%, it will then turn the grid power back on just to power the loads. It won't charge the batteries. It'll wait till the next morning when the sun comes up, then it'll start charging the batteries that way, making this as an efficient unit as possible to lower your payback period. There's also backup mode on this as well. So in backup mode, it just charges the batteries as fast as it can from the grid and powers your loads at the same time and gets your batteries quickly up to 100% charge to be ready for if the grid dropped for some reason. So it always keeps you at 100% charge. So it's not the most efficient use of this, because if you have solar panels, obviously you want to use the sun to power this and the sun to charge the batteries. But if you just wanted to use this system purely without any solar panels and just have this as backup power for when you need it, that's a perfect use. So I do kind of a combination of self-consumption mode where it runs as efficient as possible, only using solar power and batteries to run the house. But if I see, for instance, if I see a thunderstorm coming, I'll go ahead and use the backup mode, just charge my batteries quickly, and it charges the batteries from 20% to 100% on this, because it's about 15 kilowatt hours. It'll charge it from 20% to 100% in less than 2 hours. There's also a custom mode as well if you wanted to use that, which is a combination of the three basically. Another nice feature about this EP800 is because it's modular, it's kind of a plug and play unit, you can break this down within about an hour if you wanted to just move it and take it to another home. Let's say you were selling your home, you could bring this system with you with no problem at all. Now for the install, I would recommend 2 people because each of these weigh about 100 pounds. So could one person do it? Yes, they could. You'd struggle a little bit, but with 2 people, it makes it a breeze. So Bluetti highly recommends 2 people for the installation to avoid injury lifting these heavy pieces of equipment here. And the EP800 is a fixed installation arrangement and needs to comply with strict installation requirements to ensure the safety of not only you, but also the equipment. Bluetti can drop ship this to you. Each of these units, the B500s and the inverter, come in separate boxes, making it very easy for UPS to drop this off via a regular delivery. You can put each box on a little hand truck or dolly and put it and drag those to anywhere you're going to do the install. So it's very easy when it comes to unloading this thing and unpacking it and moving it around. I've been running this unit here on our house for about a month and I've had no issues at all with it. It just works. Now the EP800 does not sell back power to the grid. If you wanted that, you're going to want to get the EP900. That is basically the exact same unit. It runs on about 1,500 watts more, so you can get about 1,500 watts more out of it, closer to 9,000 watts of running watts instead of the 7,600. But other than that, it's identical. Same install, same everything. I'll have a link to both the EP800 and EP900 in the description of this video, with also a discount code that Bluetti was nice enough to give me to get you all 5% off this thing, which is a considerable discount, so check that out. Bluetti also has a customer service team that's ready to help you out if you need it via phone call. They can help you decide how many batteries you'll need, and they can also help hook you up with a local installer that's certified for these in your area. Now, I installed this Bluetti EP800 myself, but I do have some experience with electrical connections. So if you don't, I recommend you hire a licensed installer. Reach out to Bluetti for that, because this is 240 volts. It can kill you. Now, the install of this EP800 was a piece of cake. The hardest part of this install was the critical loads panel, which that does definitely take some electrical experience to do, because what you're doing is basically pulling your circuits off your main home panel and moving it into another small panel right next to it. And that does take electrical experience. And again, that's very dangerous. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't try that. Soon I'll be releasing an install video of how I installed this entire thing. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so you'll be notified when I do release that video. The EP800 has a NEMA 4X rating, which means it can be installed outside like you see here. This is just on a deck outside underneath an awning, but it is facing north, so it's not getting direct sunlight and it's not getting direct water on it. So that's what you want to watch out for. Now, if you need to install it outside and you're in an area that you think is a security risk, people might try and steal it, they do also have, or Bluetti will provide you with, a locked enclosure that you can buy from them that really makes it where you don't even know what's there. It looks like it might just be a little garden storage shed. Now, the operating temperature that this can operate in outside is between -4 degrees Fahrenheit and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you live in really cold areas or areas that get a lot hotter than that, you're going to want to install this in a room inside your house or an insulated garage. And this unit is so quiet, I don't even hear it running ever. They do say that it operates at less than 50 decibels. I don't hear it at all. I would have no problem installing this inside a room in my house if I needed to. So the EP800 and 900 inverter has an idle consumption of only 20 watts when it's connected to the grid and 30 watts when it's off grid. And each of these battery packs, the 3 different batteries I have here, consume 7 watts of power at idle consumption. So this whole unit right here that you see has an idle consumption of only 51 watts. That is very efficient. It has the compliance and certifications that you'd expect of a unit like this built for a whole home solution. The EP800 also has a PV disconnect switch built into it. The batteries are lithium iron phosphate, so you can expect them to last a long time and operate safely. You can even use the EP800 for your existing solar panels because the EP800 allows both DC and AC coupling. Bluetti here has provided an excellent solution, I think, to be less dependent on the electric grid. And even with the right efficient appliances, I think you could use this as a whole home off-grid solution. So here's how the EP800 works. So this is the main 200 amp panel to the house it's feeding here, and this double breaker or double pole 50 amp breaker here is the backup power to the EP800. So that backup power goes out behind the wall, right to the other side of this wall here. And it comes out of that wall into this disconnect. So from the main 200 amp panel to the disconnect where we can just pull the breaker, or not the breaker here, but it's a non-fusible disconnect switch. You can just pull that down, 60 amps, and it shuts down power to the grid. Basically puts us off grid, really. And then from here, that backup power feeds into the EP800, and then it feeds out from right here and goes up into this conduit and drops down into the critical loads panel right here. And then this panel is completely powered by the EP800. We fed the EP800 into this generator supply port here, and that feeds all of these loads. And all these breakers we pulled out of the main panel right on the other side of this wall and pulled them into here because we want all the loads for the house running off this panel and not on the main panel over there now. So that is how this works. So the solar panel wiring we have coming down from below there, below the deck, and it pops up in this little disconnect here where we convert it from THHN wire to PV wire that just plugs in right here. And these are just your standard MC4 connectors there to connect it. And we only have one of the MPPT charge controllers working right now. We could add another solar array to the top one right there. And you're probably wondering why we have this platform. We built this ourselves because we have an outlet underneath where we wanted to still have access to that, so we just built it up off the ground. But this can be set right on the ground, and as you can see, there's probably about a ½ inch of a gap there if you want to set it straight on the ground. And they also have a base that you can put on here, a little base that you can set on the ground. If it's in your garage, you want it up a little off the ground in case of flooding, and you can buy that separately, which I do have, but because this is already such a tall unit with these batteries, we have it up off the ground almost probably 18, 19 inches. We didn't want to add any more. Probably add another 3 inches if we would have put that base support on it. So we didn't want to do that. Now I put together a PDF that you can download that shows how I wired this. Basically a wire schematic or a wiring schematic, all the size wire I used, the size conduit I used, the breakers I used, pretty much every component I used for this install, I'm going to have in that PDF, so you can click on those links and you can buy those yourself if you're looking to do this installation. You can download that PDF for free by going to ep800download.com. Now let's talk about the cost of this thing as I'm making this video in December of 2023. To buy this unit with 2 batteries, totaling about 10 kilowatt hours of battery storage, you're looking at about $8,999 before the 30% solar tax credit. After that, it would bring your cost down to about $6,300. Plus, there is going to be a little bit of expense on the installation side if you're just to buy all the extra materials like conduit, wire, breakers, the critical loads panel, all of that, but that should be definitely less than $1,000 for sure. If you wanted this exact solution that I have with 3 batteries, you're looking at $11,999 before the 30% federal tax incentive. After that 30% tax credit, you're looking at $8,399. And if you wanted to max out this thing with 4 batteries, totaling 20 kilowatt hours of storage, you're looking at $14,999 before the solar tax credit. With the tax credit, you're looking at about $10,500. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't even have to have a solar array for this. If you just wanted to put this in place and use it as backup or time of use for on those time periods where you get charged a lot more for electricity, this is a perfect solution. and just buy panels as you go. You could always add solar panels at a later time when your budget allows. Bluetti just launched their Solar Plus program. Now what this program is a one-stop shop where they can offer you consulting, financing, all the equipment, and help connect you with an installer in your area. Here is step-by-step on how it would work. The first step is the preliminary design and consultation that they'll do over the phone. In this step, they'll give you the option to either pay cash or finance the system. Then after you receive and sign the contract, they'll finalize the plans and do an on-site inspection and get all of the measurements needed. Then they'll do the design and the permitting. Next step would be the installation and all of the inspections required after that. And in the final step, they'll work with your utility to get this hooked up to the power grid. Now, as of right now, this program's only available in Texas, and this is in December of 2023. So depending on when you're watching this video, they are planning on rolling this out to the rest of the nation. So click on the link in the description I'll have. They'll take you to this program to see if it's available in your area. Bluetti has really worked hard to make this as hassle-free a process as possible, and I think they really pulled it off. This is by far the easiest process I've seen to where if you wanted to go off grid and you didn't know anything about solar, that they can help make that happen. And using this program, the solar panels that they'll provide you with have a 25-year warranty, and the EP800 and the battery packs come with a 10-year warranty. I'll have a link in the description that you can click on in this video that'll take you to this solar program, and I'll also have a discount code right there where you can save some cash on this system as well. Bluetti has certainly put out a solid product here. Check it out in those links that I have in the description below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, click that notification bell so you'll be alerted on the next videos I'll be making here, putting this EP800 in action. All right, see you in the next video.